Da 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 da. Voice mod. Let's see if that works. Okay. I think that fixed it. There's always a glitch. There's always a glitch. When Glenn does a show, Steven, there's always a glitch. Hopefully everyone can hear me right now. Let's see. Yep. So I'll start over. Hey, Steven, what's today? What are we doing? Kicking Old Skool. That's right. Exactly. We have the Tech Buzz Gaming. We have the Rextra Show. We got Michael B, the Game Genie. We have Adam. We have Jen. Who else we got in here in the chat? There's always got to be a glitch. If there's no glitch, it's not my show. It's not the show. But today's Wednesday, the new night of Kicking It Old Skool, where we can't get our sound working ever when we first start. But we do have a guest today. Why don't we bring on? Let's get some of this, tune this TV over here in a little bit. We got a guest today. Of course, people know who the guest is, I'm sure. But if you don't, we have a special guest. Where is my thing here? We have dun 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 SheLion Gaming with us today. Welcome. That's not true, Steven. You've been on every episode. Well, she does. Well, the first lady. She's the first lady. She's the lady. She's the lady of video gaming, and that's just how we're gonna play it out. First lady of gaming. I'm the godfather of gaming. She's the old bastard. She's the lady of gaming. Oh, I have no audio? No audio still? I could swear I heard it. Testing, testing. No, I have audio. No guest audio. Well, that's no good.
No Steven audio.
I could try that. Do we have audio for you guys now? Say something now.
Say something
Hello,
now.
hello, hello, test.
So
Hello, testing 1 2. 1 2 3. I think you guys have audio. Only Glenn can be heard. Well, I'm the only one who matters, to be honest.
Okay,
But
so the Rexer said he hears Jayde.
okay.
So
Okay.
Okay, I
can
think
you
we're
hear
fixed
me?
now.
Hello, hello, hello.
Rexer, you can hear me.
Well, you know, again, if it wasn't my show, there's always audio problems. Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good now. So anyway, why is my phone making so much racket? My phone won't
Okay,
make a noise.
Rexer hears me. Awesome.
Okay.
No,
Yay!
We're good.
Hi,
We're
everybody.
now.
We can finally do it.
We're all good.
All right. So what I was
Yay.
trying to say, if people didn't hear me, they probably heard me, but I'm the godfather of gaming. Jayde SheLion is the, I'm going to say, the lady of gaming, and Steven's just a lady. So we're all set here.
I can adjust my volume and see if that helps.
So I found out a couple of things about Jayde
Better?
just a few minutes ago. I didn't know. So Jayde, you actually served. And I'm not talking like serving like, you know, at McDonald's. I'm talking you served militarily. What did you do?
So I spent 11 years in the military, and I went on 4 deployments, and I also did a tour as a drill instructor. So
Really?
Yeah, and that was actually really miserable and fun at the same time. So yeah.
Your kids must listen to you pretty, you know. Yes, mother.
No,
I'll do it.
no.
Or they don't care. One or the other.
No, they're actually pretty good.
So do all the bed sheets have to be like a flip a coin and they got to bounce, otherwise they got to remake their beds?
I actually do make them make their beds.
Wow.
Cool. You have to tell us your secret, because I can't get my kids to do their beds at all.
It's called taking away important things that they like.
Their cell phones.
Oh, that'll do it.
Or their games or whatever. Yeah, that works. But when they start crying, you know, your heart goes out to them.
My first question I really need to ask. I see Glenn Basie just joined. Raya. We have a lot of people in the chat. Hobby Hands. I have to ask, when did you? Because you've got a pretty good collection there. And actually, you know what? We were talking before we were getting you on Game Time. We were talking a little bit. You know your stuff. So when did you start with gaming?
Oh God. Okay. I mean,
that's a loaded question.
It is, but I need to know.
I have like this really crazy thing with my memory. I can remember from when I was 6 months old, apparently. And this is just
don't say Xbox. Don't say you were 6 months old and Xbox came out. I'll die. When I was 6 months old, the Xbox came out.
My mom. It was actually Xbox One X. So, but no, my mom confirms these memories that I have. I'll be like, did this happen? Is this true? And she will be like, yeah. And I'll be like, well, how old was I? And she'd go, gosh, you were like 6 years old or 1 year old. Anyways, my earliest memory of video games is my dad's Atari 400, and my neighbors had an Atari 2600. And so those two things, I'm not sure which came first, but I remember playing Frogger, and I remember playing like Pac-Man as well. And I remember we had a Marie Callender's by our house. So I must have been 3 years old around this time. We had a Marie Callender's that had a Miss Pac-Man. Oh my God, what are they called? The table.
Oh, the Clico table.
Cocktail. Thank you.
Oh, the cocktail table.
Yeah. So they had a cocktail Miss Pac-Man at this Marie Callender's, and every time that we would go, which was usually every Saturday or Sunday, I would want to play the Miss Pac-Man, and I would be there just playing it. And so those were like my earliest memories of gaming. And then my dad is like a big nerd And so, you know, he just totally sucked me into his nerdy habits. And I just was curious about everything. So I would, you know, I would play games and get into his stuff when he wasn't around and draw on the instruction booklets and stuff. I mean, matter of fact, I actually have some of them still. So I've been doing that, and I think Atari was like my first really like into video games, and Miss Pac-Man.
Cool.
So what is
That's
your
awesome.
when you were growing up? What was your favorite console? Like, what was the one like that was the one you played all the time?
Gosh, until I was like maybe, I think I was about 8 or 9. Until then, I played mostly Atari.
Nice.
And I had one of my favorite games was Mr. Robot and his Robot Factory, because it had a level builder and you're this little robot that goes around and picks up dots. So it's kind of like there's like this Pac-Man element to it, but it's more of a platformer. So I was on Atari a lot, and then when I was about 8 or 9, I started learning how to program in BASIC, and then eventually my dad bought me a Sega Genesis, and then my parents got divorced, so my mom bought me a Nintendo. So I had a Nintendo and a Sega Genesis. And I really liked the Sega Genesis. I also loved the Nintendo, but once I had the Genesis, I was like, Genesis is cool, because I loved Altered Beast and all those games.
You just made Cool Toy smile, which is that the Sega Genesis. That was his thing.
What was the commercial that Sega had? Sega does what Nintendo don't, or something like that back then.
Yeah.
And then Blast Processing was the other one. Sega had the Blast Processing.
Yeah, with the drag racer.
Right, and then Nintendo had
yeah,
pickup truck.
Yeah, with the little, what was it for the Mario Kart?
Right.
And the other one was showing the whole Sonic thing going fast.
But then there was, you know, when Super Nintendo came out and everything, it was like Super Nintendo had a different style of graphics, and they were like really pastel-y compared to like Sega Genesis. But anyways, Street Fighter, I'm a huge Street Fighter fan, and I am still, like, I love Street Fighter, but I was obsessed with it back in the day. And I remember wanting a Super Nintendo and then eventually playing that more because they had Street Fighter on it, until it finally later on came out on the Sega.
So what was your favorite character in Street Fighter? What was your go-to player?
Let's see. When I was younger, it was Blanca. I really liked using Chun-Li because, you know, she's a strong woman. But I wasn't that good with her, but I still like her. So my go-to when I was younger was kind of Blanca and then Guile, because they were kind of easier for me to learn with like the back and forth movements for their special moves. And then as I started to get older, I liked to use like Ken and Ryu.
Hadouken! Hadouken! Is that how it sounds? I'm not sure.
Hadouken! That's cool. That's awesome. So I think Glenn was trying to pinpoint your age there or something like that.
No. You don't ask a lady.
Yeah,
actually,
that's not what he does. He goes around. What console did you play?
Well, I was born in 1981. I'll give you guys that.
Okay, everybody else do the math. Cool.
Nice.
So that you grew up in when the console Atari stuff was dying, in a sense, or in its heyday, but it died shortly thereafter. And then you went to the arcade, and of course Street Fighter was the biggest thing since sliced bread back in, say, the late 80s.
Yeah, I would say they did say Street Fighter was the one that brought the people back to the arcade. That was the game that did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was in the arcade before that, though. I mean, it was just like
you played Miss Pac-Man, you know.
Well, I mean, it was like, I remember going there, and they had like some of the older cabs, you know, were like asteroids and stuff, but then they had like Sinistar, Stargate, and
Run, coward, run. I love that.
and then like the Sega games. So, you know, like that generation of Sega games, like Altered Beast, Moonwalker, that kind of generation that came like you know, right after the like Defender generation and stuff like that. And that was kind of like in between like the time of Street Fighter, because you know Street Fighter came out, I think what, a year before Street Fighter 2.
Something like that. Yeah, it was very primitive.
Right.
The graphics for
I have
Street
to ask
Fighter.
you, Jade, because like I grew up and Steven kind of grew up in that first generation at the arcade. There wasn't any, right? And they started sprouting, and we were there the whole time. And home gaming wasn't really as good as the arcade. But you were kind of at the age where the arcades, like, they died out a little bit, and then, you know, like Street Fighter was bringing it back. So what was it like for you and your friends when you went? I mean, was it the same like magic experience, or was it just a place you went to, you played some games, you went home, and you played kind of games too? What is that experience for you when you went to the arcade?
It was always that I wanted more. Like I always wanted to go back. I wanted to play more because you couldn't play those kind of games at home. And I was very comparative too. So even when I had like a Sega or Super Nintendo, I was like, this isn't like the arcade. I was like, get out of here. You guys are missing stripes.
She was just gonna say the word shit, and I know it.
But then the mommy
You
kicked
can
in
say
and
that
said
here.
no.
I have to edit myself.
But you're right, though. They were not the same. They were watered down versions of Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all that stuff. And they were closer than when Glenn and I were growing up, like especially Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
The arcade and the ColecoVision version are very different. You know,
exactly. Even on the Atari, I remember, you know, because I had all the games like Donkey Kong and all that stuff on Atari. And, you know, it was great for what it was, but it was like I always wanted to go back to the arcade because it just had that feel to it. And you're playing, you know, on the joystick and buttons, and it always felt smoother and better because that was like the standard. But yeah, I mean, like my Atari heyday, I was all about Donkey Kong, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, and like I said, like Sinistar and Stargate were the other two that I really remember. Obviously, I saw Asteroids. I was never hugely into it, and I don't remember seeing like a Space Invaders cab in the wild. I just remember playing that a lot on my Atari.
It's weird when.
Well, I heard a rumor. I'm gonna ask her something here. I heard a rumor from Glenn that you restored a Donkey Kong cabinet in 2 days.
It was. I mean, I like how it did get embellished, but it was actually 4 days.
Oh, well, even better.
So
tell us that story, because I said to Glenn, I said, I got to hear this, because that's right there.
Yeah. So, well, fortunately, the inside of it was in really good shape. So the monitor worked great, and the board was good. So everything boots and works great, right?
That's cool.
So knowing this going into it before I actually got it delivered, I ordered a lot of the stuff I needed. And actually the Rexer helped me out a lot, got me like the paint code and, you know, just gave me a lot of little pointers. But I pretty much had everything that I needed. And then the exterior of it, I just had to sand the sides. So the sides were like, the side panels were the most work. Everything else I either threw paint on or just took apart and put back together after I cleaned it. So I think that having like all the stickers and buttons and everything that I needed made it a lot easier to, you know, get it restored into like presentable shape within those 4 days. There was a couple little things that I got, you know, within the week after that, but it was pretty much finished and good to go. So
I think it's on your channel too, that whole process. Well, not the whole thing, but I was able to dig up a few videos, and I was like, I gotta ask her about this. Like, this is crazy,
right?
Because Glenn's telling me 2 days, and I'm like, I'm looking at the video going,
well,
okay.
you know how that goes. One person tells one person, and it'll become 50 minutes. Then it'll be, you know,
I caught a fish. It was that big.
But
yeah,
hey,
exactly.
But she also, I mean, it's a fact. This is a fact that she got gum from 1981 on there. Right? That gum,
museum
she
stuff right there.
framed it. I think she framed it. It was like bubble yum from 1981.
Some people have speculated it might have been Billy Mitchell's.
Could have been.
Billy Mitchell's gum. Damn. That's sad. But you know what? Okay, let me ask you, how much did you pay for the cabinet, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh my God, a bargain.
$750. Yeah.
That's not bad. That's
No,
really
and
good.
it was like he delivered and everything.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the monitor, the CRT monitor working, and the board number matches the serial number on the back of the cabinet. So it's like
The most expensive thing is the board and those things. The monitors you can get a dime a dozen still, but the board, if that's broken, or at least the PCB itself, it has, corroded traces and all that stuff, that's more difficult. That's more, but if you got an intact board and everything works 100%, hey, count your lucky stars. That's all I got to say. I have not been that fortunate. My Turtles machine had bad chips on it, had to replace all that. But it works great now. But at the time, these boards, you never know what's going to happen to them, right? Over 30, 40, 50 years,
right.
So it's pretty good. So what were you saying, Glenn, when I wanted to ask her about the whole Donkey Kong thing? You were going to ask her a question.
Yeah, that's whatever the synapse was firing then. I don't know. It's gone. It's gone.
That's what the old geezer show's all about, right there.
That's exactly it. So
The old timers.
I guess I'll ask this. So when you were growing, do you have a lot of siblings? Do you have siblings? I didn't even ask.
I do. I actually have 3 brothers and a sister.
Okay, so were you all like gamers together, or was kind of like they all went their own ways, or did you fight over the console? It's my turn, and they push you down and take the console away.
Yeah, my brother and my sister. So my other 2 brothers are like, they came later. So it was mainly me, my brother, and my sister. And so, yeah, that would definitely happen, but more between me and my brother.
Fighting. It's my turn.
Squabbling. But yeah, we're all kind of like part of that nerdy lineage. It's my dad's fault.
That's our job as fathers. You know that, right? It's an unwritten rule that we have to pass down our nerdiness to our children. So it's written in unwritten law right there.
Fair enough.
My daughter's 14 years old.
Oh boy.
And she's a little nerd. So it's good. But she likes to get all dressed up too, like a princess. So it's all good.
Right. Yeah.
So Jayde, were you still of the generation of, you were outside and then come back to like dusk, the people call, hey,
yes.
time for dinner, and hey, they're calling you. You still have that era?
Oh yeah. I mean, we had where I grew up, it was like our housing track, and at least for the first 8 years it was just our housing track, and we were surrounded by orange groves, and so we'd either be in the orange groves, or eventually they knocked down the orange groves behind us. And so, we'd all go over there and like ride our bikes around and stuff, and just get into random trouble. But yeah, I mean, you'd be out all day, and, then you'd come home and sometimes get yelled at because you were supposed to be home a while ago. And
those days are gone.
Yeah, they definitely are not the same.
Now it's the opposite. Why are you still in the house? Go outside for a minute.
And then I've got my GPS. I could track you. Go get lost. Do something. Yeah, no problem. That's really cool. So you live in California. So these orange groves, I just heard a story that Disney, when they were first building Disneyland, that they bought a bunch of orange groves and cut them all down to build Disneyland. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was just surprised to hear that. And I live up north. There's not an orange for miles, hundreds of miles here. But even Glenn, they don't grow oranges where you live.
Here,
right?
No, we grow groundhogs.
Too damn cold.
We grow the groundhogs. All the groundhogs in the world come from this area here. Everyone and moles. Okay. We got those too.
Well, it's kind of like that out here where I live. There's a lot of areas where there's orange groves still, but not nearly as many as there was when I was a kid.
Cool. So what do you do for gaming now? Like when you left earlier off your chair, we saw a Nintendo Switch back there, and it was hard to decipher a few things. We were just looking at your neon or LED light setup back there with the television. But what do you play that's relatively new? Like or do you go to the old school stuff like well, I play a bit of both, but Glenn, he's stuck in the 80s, but he has a Switch at home unused if you want one.
It's in a bag like everything else.
No, but what do you play that's maybe more modern, or do you try to look for that game that has a combination of both? Like there's games that have come out like Slipstream that came out that's a bit like Outrun. And,
yeah, I don't go like towards. So if I'm playing games on like a console or PC, I don't go towards anything retro. I'm like, I would rather just play it on the actual console if I'm going to do that. I mean, that's not to say that I don't think that some of these like retro style games that people are doing are cool, like the bit style or pixel style or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But me personally, if I want to play a game, I want it to be something like really immersive. Like, so, I mean, I spent almost close to 500 hours playing Cyberpunk 2077.
That small disaster?
What was your experience with it? What console did you play it on, and what was your experience with Cyberpunk?
So I started on PC, and I think I spent about 260 hours like clearing the game completely. And there was like a couple little bugs, but I never had any major issues. I mean, there was things that I noticed and whatnot. But overall, my experience was I enjoyed it because to me, it was so different and felt, very immersive to me. I thought the story was really like weird and cool. I mean, it was different. Mm-hmm. So my experience with it was that it was very enjoyable. And then once they started fixing the console versions, I actually started the game on my Xbox, beat it on there, and then when they came out with the upgrade, I got it on PS5. So I'm actually still chipping away at my PS5 game.
Wow. I haven't started that game yet. I was waiting till it goes on sale.
Until Atari Age makes it a Atari 2600 port, I probably won't play it. I need them to port like Halo.
Well, they got Halo.
I played Halo. I did that. So Jayde, I guess in your collection that you have, right, out of all the things you have, whether it be that Donkey Kong, actually we'll take Donkey Kong off the table, it's not fair. Out of the other things that you have, what is, I guess, your most, I don't know what to say sentimental, but what's the one you care about the most? What's the one that gives you the most joy?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I asked the question.
Just like asking what was your favorite kid.
Well, she told us offline. Yeah, we know which one that is. We're not going to say it here, but she told us she does have a favorite, and, told us before.
Wow. I mean, like, I would say that probably the Atari, I feel like, has the most sentimental value, if you will. Because, I mean, it's been with me since I was yay high.
You would have had a blast at the Long Island Gaming Expo. You would have.
I know I would have. I wish I could have gone. I wish.
It's on the other side of the country for you, though, right?
Yeah. It is.
So that's too bad. I wanted to go, but came back from a very expensive vacation, so that was off the table.
You made life choices, Stephen. You made the wrong
one. I know. I got to live with them. I get it.
I heard you guys talking about that the last episode. Sounded like
a good
time.
I nerded out totally.
Yeah, we maybe used about that much of the show on his vacation.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was so exciting and relaxing, so it's all good.
We probably also start saving for the Portland Retro Gaming Show. That's like a really, really big one. I know John Riggs is in the chat, and I haven't been to the Portland one myself, but
when is that?
The Portland, I'm not sure when it is. Maybe John will put it down in the chat, but supposedly it's like the one to go to. I'm sure you must have some out in California. It's got to be shows. I know Arizona's got them. California's got to have.
California's got a few of them, but I think I'm trying to remember where they're located.
In California.
A couple of my friends.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember where they're are.
They're usually like in LA, LA or San Diego.
Is that a big hike for you, or is that like drivable for you, where you live?
Yeah, I mean, San Diego is easier, but LA is probably an hour and a half more than San Diego, and the traffic is so bad. It's just,
I've driven down there. It sucks.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point in my life where unless it requires my survival, I really don't want to drive any more than possible, because it's just like to those types of areas, because it's so crowded in those cities and on those freeways.
Oh, I bet. John Riggs confirmed
Glenn.
real quick. He says October 14th through 16th is the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So thanks, John, for that. Hopefully I'll meet you there again. He's pretty, he was really nice. He was, he only ran away from me twice. But I think the only time he could do that was there was a line he can get through. The other time there were so many people he couldn't get away, so he was being nice and he talked to me for a little bit. So John, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that picture made you look really small next to him.
I was on my knees. He's got a height complex, so I went on my knees to make him look taller. But man, no, he's tall. I was like, you're hurting my neck, dude.
Yeah, I saw the picture and I was like, damn. So it was pretty. But I've driven in California and there's traffic there till midnight. Still at midnight, there's bumper to bumper traffic, and you're like, don't you people go to bed? Like,
yeah,
and it was I didn't want to go back.
Get up at around like 3 a.m, and I would be on the road by around 4 and get on the freeway, and I would still hit traffic at 4 a.m, going towards San Diego. But still, I mean, there was a point, where you would get up that early and there wasn't very much traffic. So it was like every 5 years, like the interval massively increases. It's wild.
That's like going to Long Island. I mean, we were down there like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and we were still bumper to bumper. It's like, my God. I mean, I've driven to LIE in normal traffic, rush hour, and I want to like. But if you got a Saturday, it wouldn't be too bad. But it was, and
It's
so I get LA. I've heard all the horror stories. Do you drive a gas car or an electric car? What do you have? What do you got, Jade?
Tesla.
You do.
Electric.
Which one? Oh, one so
I have a Model Y, and
nice.
I did have a Model 3. I actually had 2 Model 3s. But I ended up getting a Model Y because it's got more space, and I really.
Okay, so you have to hurt my soul, because I could have got one in 2018 and I did not. So how good is it? How good is it?
Best investment ever.
Tesla cars don't work too good up here. So.
Oh, in the cold?
Apparently people have had them here and they're like, nah, this doesn't work up here.
You know why? Because it's Celsius and kilometers. It's built in America. It wants miles and Fahrenheit.
Probably because there might not be as much of a charging network up there. I mean, like.
Oh, there isn't. No, there isn't. It's terrible.
So down here, it's like, I mean, you could drive pretty much anywhere and you're not going to have any issues. Plus, it'll route you and
that's
give
cool.
you your mileage to, wherever the closest charger is if you need it to. But, it is, I've had one since the end of 2018, I think, or beginning of 2019, and I haven't looked back. I mean, I completely forget that gas stations even exist, because my other car is an i3, which is like the daily driver.
A couple of times I was going to get it. Every time I went to go get it, the price went up. I'm like, no, forget it. I'll wait. And the price keeps going this way. So I'm like, oh, I could have got, when they did that $35,000 one in 2018, it was, for a little while, you can get it for $35,000. I was going to do it, and I flinched, and then the price went up. I'm like, no, I'm not paying more for it, because I'm cheap. I'm an old man. And now the price is like, forget it. Before I forget, though, I want to just talk about our sponsor today, because I really want to help out good friends of mine. If I can pull this up over here, I got so many different buttons on. I got this little Stream Deck here. Where did it go? Here it is. Good old Old Skool Gamer magazine. So the Old Skool Gamer magazine, it's run by people pretty much out of their pocket, right? So
that's crazy.
Right. So they want to double their subscriber base, and so they have a Kickstarter. I'm going to run this video here. I think the order is going to work, but they're shooting for a $30,000 goal. Now, with that being said, when my Star Wars yoke, when we were doing the Kickstarter for that, I think we were looking for like 30,000. We got like 60. We doubled it. So I really hope the Old Skool Gamer can get some of you guys love. We run this promo here and see if you guys help me out. I'm going to donate myself for it. I think it's a good magazine. Let me start this thing up here.
Hi, everybody. This is Tim Kitcher, the voice of NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. And if you're like me and you like to keep your finger on the pulse of the game community, there's no better way than Old Skool Gamer Magazine, either print or digital. And here's some options as how you can help support Old Skool Gamer Magazine in this Kickstarter. For $20, you can get a full year subscription, including 6 digital issues. This is available around the world. Or for only $95, you can go with a lifetime digital subscription anywhere. And for $50 US, you go print and digital in the US, a little more in Canada. International options will come after the Kickstarter. For most of you, one of those options will cover you. But if you want to really invest in Old Skool Gamer, check out these options. For $100, subscribers board advisory position, private Facebook group, thanks in every issue of OSG, plus 1 year subscription, including 6 issues digitally and print. And for $350, featured. A collector, store, or arcade of your choosing gets featured in the magazine with a 1 to 2 page article. Plus, 1 year subscription, including 6 issues digitally and print. Plus advisory board benefits, including thanks in every issue. And for $1,000, publisher's board position, plus subscription digitally and print. So take it from me, Mr. Boom Shakalaka. The best way to keep your head in the game is with Old Skool Gamer magazine. And now with this special opportunity to invest in Old Skool Gamer, you not only ensure your subscription, you're helping a great cause, and you have the option to help promote yourself or your business. Hey, that's a win-win where I come from. So get on the team today. Be a part of Old Skool Gamer and make your pledge right now. Ooh, boom shakalaka!
Boom shakalaka! I had to tie myself up so I didn't talk during it. So if anyone wants to, subscribe to Old Skool Game magazine, I can highly recommend it. It's a great magazine. They have really good articles in there, and they're a good bunch of people. So just putting it out there.
There's 2 things they should do tonight. Go back to Kickstarter and subscribe to SheLion Gaming. Go there. She's starting out. And I had a question. That leads to my question. What made you start your channel and go, hey, I'm going to put my butt on YouTube and talk about games? What's the drive, the motivation, or bright idea? Did your kids coerce you into it? Did you just wake up one morning?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Well, I thought, if I put my butt on YouTube, that I would just start getting a lot of views and likes. And
Instead, you get trolls.
So, no. Well, I think that, for a long time, I've been, doing all of this stuff. And I do, sometimes I see things on YouTube and I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Or, this little detail I could add in. Or sometimes I'm like, what is this person talking about? Somebody needs to make a better video than this. Or you just can't find what you're looking for. And so then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go through this and figure it out on my own. But anyways, I'm like, I need to start making videos about this and just share my experiences, because I see a lot of people, sharing their experiences or little things about their experiences. And with the Arcade 1-Up cabinets, there's a lot of modding that goes on in the community. And I just like to basically share what I'm doing with people, because I think, hopefully they'll get something out of it, or it gives them an idea or helps them put an idea that they already had into play. And that was just kind of it. And then it turned into what it is now.
Cool. So how long has it been live? Because you've been at it for how long now? A year, 2 years?
2 months.
2 months. Oh, well, there you go. You're off to a good start.
Oh, it's a very good start.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because at the end of the day, getting on YouTube is no easy task. I've been procrastinating for 3 years almost.
Actually, Stephen, it's really easy. You click the button and you post a video.
I know, but I
It's
want to
2 buttons.
commit every week or month or whatever, and I just can't.
You know what the gateway app was for me? Now that I think about it, TikTok. I started doing TikToks and I was like, you can't really do anything that's extremely long on TikTok. It has to be really quick and get people's attention. And so, I'm kind of wanting to take more time to explain certain things, but also be straight to the point about it. And so YouTube, I think, was the platform where I started to kind of be I think I need to start making YouTube videos.
Cool.
And actually, YouTube used to be that way. YouTube used to be, short videos, and then they started to extend it out. But I hear you. Yet the TikTok has got to be quick, down and dirty, And if anyone's seen my old intros that were like 10 minutes long, that never would have worked.
Well, now they got shorts, don't they, on YouTube? Like hashtag shorts or something?
Yeah, that's, I guess,
They
them.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to recompete with how it used
that,
to be.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's more
Gotcha.
like TikTok combined with YouTube with the shorts.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Yeah.
Jade, I know you do have some kids. So do they like what mommy's doing? Do they go into the game room and like, ooh, and they like touch them and you're like, no, your hand's full of mustard and ketchup. Get off my machines. How does that work out?
Yeah, they do. They really like the Ridge Racer and my oldest daughter likes Tron. She loves Tron. And
I
Ridge
knew I
Racer.
liked her. I knew it.
And then her and my middle like Star Wars, and then the littlest one, she likes the racing game, so she likes Ridge Racer. And then they all really like playing Simpsons Bowling. We all kind of get in on that one.
That's a good family game, actually. I have it on my MAME cabinet, and it's great.
Yeah.
You just, okay, get the trackball out. Okay, now go. And it's pretty cool. It's a good little party game. Or everybody takes their turn, and it's really fun.
It is.
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. 2 months in, and she's already on our show. That's an accomplishment.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Could be we don't have a lot of people, so
Yeah, too.
There's two ways to look at it, Stephen.
Here. Yeah. Glass half full, half empty.
You're the half full guy. I'm always a half empty guy. It's
there
just
you
how it
go,
is.
for sure. So that's cool. So so I think the next question I think Glenn's probably itching to ask it is, never mind the games at this point. So you grew up, let's say a 10-year difference than Glenn and I. So when you woke up in the morning, Saturday morning cartoons were still a thing. Did you skip that and go outside, or did you sit there with your bowl of cereal? And we need to know, and especially John Riggs needs to know, what kind of cereal you were eating.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. That's a good one.
So, yeah, usually I would be sitting in front of the TV. And when I was a lot younger, we didn't have cable, but my dad would record movies on 8mm tapes, and we had a little 8mm VCR. And so I would like sometimes watch those in the morning. And then, they had like PBS and stuff like that, and I would watch Transformers and all that. My Little Pony, Care Bears.
How about Gem?
Anyways,
Gem and the Holograms.
And then I had like a little breakfast tray that had like orange flowers on it because everything was like orange in the 80s. And
wood grain too.
It was, and it was metal, and it had little metal legs. And then I would eat Honey Nut Cheerios and what was the other one? Frosted Flakes. Honey Nut Cheerios. Frosted Flakes, yeah.
You didn't go too crazy with the sugar.
Like Captain Crunch or was it
Captain
Lucky Charms?
That was another one, Captain Crunch. My mom wouldn't buy Lucky Charms for some reason. She would buy Captain Crunch, but not Lucky Charms.
Well, look at the box. The sugar content's in triple digits in that thing.
Right.
I mean,
especially
it's so
back
much
in the
sugar.
Day, they had a little bit of blow in there too. So.
Probably. the damn Lucky Charms. So that's cool. So you watched a lot of the girls stuff, or did you? Well,
I gotta know. Gem and the Holograms, She-Ra. I mean, I used to watch them.
Oh yeah. I mean, I watched everything. All those cartoons. I feel like back in the day, like if you were watching them, you'd kind of sit there and keep watching. But yeah, I mean, She-Ra, He-Man kind of, but let's see what Thundercats.
Strawberry Shortcake.
Thundercats.
Thundercats.
I loved the girl in Voltron, and I loved Voltron. And I even liked it so much, I begged my mom to get me one of the die-cast ones for my 4th birthday, and
nice.
She actually did.
Which color? Which
did you watch the new Netflix series?
No.
What line did you get? Did you get the black line, the red line, the green line, the yellow line? Which one?
No, the whole thing.
Oh, you got the whole robot.
Yeah, it was the whole set with all the robots, but it was like, you could put them all together or take them all apart.
Nice. That's real nice.
So
Thanks, Mom.
So you didn't watch the new Voltron series on Netflix?
No, I'm afraid to.
Oh no, it's really good.
Really?
I think it's really.
I think it started off kind of slow because I watched a few episodes and I kind of and I walked away from it. So you're saying I should go
You know
back?
what though? Yeah, because the second and I think third season of that, it's so good.
I'm always afraid when they're rebooting things. I'm like,
I don't know
ugh.
if it's a reboot though. I think it's a separate story, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but watch it, and I kind of had vague memories of the original series and this, so I really enjoyed it. My son and I watched it together, and he really enjoyed it. So it's something to be said.
Now I'm going to go to the hard question.
Take a look at it then.
I'm going right for the jugular with this Jayde question here. There are 3 different eras: prequel, the good one, and the crappy one of Star Wars. So which ones do you like?
Which era of Star Wars?
Right, you like the prequels?
The original era.
Ah!
I was gonna say something and go, choose your words carefully, Jayde.
No, that's easy. Of course, I even have the original cuts, like A New Hope without it saying New Hope.
It just says Star Wars. It just says Star Wars. Yes.
Yeah. I have like all the original cuts. I absolutely love that era of Star Wars.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I totally forgot to do this here. Where was it? How did I miss this? There we go. Got them cheers.
I don't see anything.
That's okay. They hear it. People in the audience hear it. It was a big applause.
Okay.
It was great.
Okay.
So out of
Glenn, this is anticlimactic.
It was out of the real good 3 ones: Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Jedi. What was your favorite and why?
Oh God. Okay. So I used to always be torn between Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, but as I've gotten older and I don't know when it was. I just know it was when I was older, like an adult. I was like, Empire is my favorite. And Empire is my favorite because of where the story is at that point and everything that transpires with the characters. And then kind of like, where they leave it. Because I think they leave it in like an exciting place, So it ends, it doesn't necessarily end on a good note, but it doesn't end on a bad note either. So there's a lot of things in there that are just like magical, like, the Millennium Falcon scenes and all the interaction between Han and Leia, and then how Luke has his own thing going on at the same time. And of course, Hoth. I mean, Hoth is amazing.
That's epic.
Jedi, the reason why I say I used to be torn is because I love the dark element of Return of the Jedi, and like how it's really based around Luke learning, like he knows how to use the Force way more, and he's much more hardcore in that one, than in the beginning when he's like crying about wanting to go to Tashi Station to pick up power converters and just want to slap them.
Power converters. Now I'm going to tell you, if you never heard of this,
you have to press the cheer button, Glenn. She said Empire Strikes Back.
She did, but I wanted to know, and I say this on all the shows if people watch it. There's a guy who does fan edits. They're called Revisited. So Star Wars Episode 4 Revisited, Star Wars Episode 5 Revisited. He's working on all of them, but those are the 2 he's got done. And those are actually the only ones I'll watch now. So it's like you take the original, but you pump it up to a 13. And this is his own time. He added more special effects. He made corrections to like the lighting effects for the lasers. Like in Hoth, the battle scene is much more. There's more ATSTs, more of the scout ones. It's just, again, if you look for them and watch them, I will not watch any other version of 4 and 5 now. They're that good.
Wow.
So if you
gotta check them out.
Yep, it's just called Revisited. Star Wars Episode 4 Revisited. I think the guy doing it is Adawan, the guy doing it, and then it's Episode 5 Revisited. Phenomenal. I want to say it takes him like 4 or 5 years to do each one, because again, he's doing it out of his own pocket with these things. But if I'm telling you, people, watch these episodes, and this is how a true, like when Star Wars came out with Lucas with the special editions, that's what they should have been. These, that's what these should have been. I would just say watch them. And again, Jayde, good picks. Very good
Thank you.
picks. And I agree with you. When I was younger, Star Wars. As I got older, the darker story in Empire did draw me in to make that my favorite. And of course, being in the theater and experiencing, no, I am your father. It was like blew your minds. Like what? What? So there was a lot of good
And he
things
cuts
in
his
there.
hand off after.
That was
Yeah.
Nice
before.
man.
He
Yeah.
cut it off before. Come on, Steven. He chopped it
Uh,
off. He's cornered, and then he says it.
Yeah, I know, but still, So,
I remember the first time I saw Star Wars ever. I was like, I think I was like 3. And Empire Strikes Back was on. You remember when you had cable and HBO would get all the big movies, right?
Right.
And Empire Strikes Back was on HBO in this hotel that we were staying at. And I remember it was like the scene with Luke and Yoda, and I was just like mesmerized by it. And I was asking my dad, like, what is this? But yeah, eventually, because they wouldn't let me watch it when I was that little, but eventually, he let me watch it. And unfortunately, I can't say I saw them when they were originally released in theaters, but when they re-released them, and I'm not talking about the George Lucas CGI versions.
the special editions, they call them.
Right.
The special shit editions. Yes, the special shit editions. Yeah.
When they re-released them, I went and saw every single one twice in the movie theater. And those were not the ones with all the added CGI. It was like before those ones came out, and then I think after that they re-released them a couple years later or something.
And I got to say something. When you mentioned HBO, this happened only for Star Wars. I've never seen it ever again. When Star Wars finally got to HBO, they started on the first of the month at 12:01 and showed Star Wars. When that ended, they showed Star Wars. When that ended, they showed Star Wars. Did that for the whole month. HBO showed nothing 24 hours a day for a month except the original Star Wars. That's how big this was in that era.
You're kidding.
I am not kidding.
I never heard that. I never heard that.
I didn't know that either.
Over and over again. As soon as it ended, you just sat in front of the TV. You sat in front, you're drooling on your food on yourself. You never left. It was just Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. You couldn't leave because it was Star Wars. You were stuck in front of the TV.
You're getting it for free instead of the theater, so you just watch
yeah,
it.
But
on
it was
cable.
obviously a number of years later because it took a while for them to release the video and then the HBO. But when it was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a month. Star Wars.
Cool. So what
cool.
other movies you like other than Star Wars? I'm sure you like other things.
I also like Star Trek. I love Star Trek.
But there's a lot of Star Treks here. We're also getting it's almost Kathleen Kennedy territory with Star Trek. So which Star Treks are we talking about?
Well, as far as the movies go, the first 2 were my favorite.
Okay, motion picture and con. Good solid pick.
Yeah, I also like Search for Spock, but just it's it didn't. I don't think it was like as epic. The first one is my favorite by far. The ending scene just gives me goosebumps still to this day. Like it's probably like one of the coolest movie scenes I've ever seen. It's like beautiful.
And there's a director's cut
on that movie.
There was a director's cut that's supposed to be. I think it's out now. You can buy on Blu-ray. It's a enhanced version of it. But it's funny you say that though, because most people felt that the first one was a bit of a disappointment, where the second one was the bigger hit. But you actually liked more the cerebral part of it.
I was just gonna say the first one was more like you said, cerebral, but it was very intelligent. And the second one was more like, okay, let's give everyone some more action, because that's how it was back then. And it wasn't bad though. It was done well. I really like it. So anyways, but the first one is my favorite. And then the show, I absolutely love the show. I have it on DVD. Unfortunately, it's the remastered version, but I also have the Amazon version, which you can play in the original format. So I've seen obviously every episode. And I remember watching reruns of Star Trek when I was like 3 or 4 years old at my babysitter's house. I'd just sit there and watch Shatner, and you know, he's
But
so like
Jayde,
so good
why
at
are
what
you
he
watching
does.
my show? I really appreciate it.
Don't I look good? Don't you
How
want
is this
to
angle?
give
Is this a
me
better
a
angle of me?
kiss?
I don't know. My only memory of Shatner is him getting it on with every alien he came across. So
Hey, you know,
that's
Viagra
my
is in the
thing.
23rd century too, you know.
It's like,
You get
hey, we're
that
going to
dim
new
lighting
planet.
across the eyes.
You could just see it in his eyes going, yay, we're going to new planet.
So
It's
what do you
like, oh,
think?
damn.
What do you think of these new ones? There's Discovery, and then there's what's Strange New Worlds? That's the other one.
Are
Strange
you
New
talking
World,
about
yeah.
the one with Pike? Yeah.
So what do you think of those two?
I actually like the one with Pike.
Okay, I could tolerate that one.
Yeah.
The Strange New World, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about
Strange
Discovery?
World. I like it because it hasn't been done before, and the lineage of Pike is mysterious. So I thought it was cool that they made a show about his character, because, you know, of like the potentiality of it that was never explored, obviously. But aside from that one, you know, Next Generation is definitely the next one.
I was going to ask you about that.
That's the next one. So I think that the original series, Next Generation, are my two like base shows.
Solid pick. Solid pick. You know, the Deep Space Nine was pretty good. Voyager was okay, but
I liked Voyager. It wasn't bad.
It was okay. I liked Enterprise. I mean,
I liked
the first season was weak. I admit it. The first season of Enterprise was weak. Then it got better, but I do not like Discovery at all. I barfed after the first season.
I wasn't a big fan of Discovery.
Right. But the Strange New Worlds, it's okay. Like I could watch it. I'll watch it and at least, you know, say okay.
Gotta watch the Orville.
Well, the Orville is good. I don't know if Jayde has seen Orville, but Orville is very good. It's actually, I think, a better Star Trek than the new Star Treks are, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Have you seen that at all, Jayde? Any of the Orville?
The what?
The Orville.
Oh, no.
Seth MacFarlane.
It's on
Griffin.
It's actually on Hulu. It's on Hulu, right? Is that what's playing on now, or is it they moved it again to Disney?
Disney bought it, so in Canada here it's on Disney Plus. But in the US, I think they separated Disney Plus and Hulu because
I think it's on Hulu.
Whatever, but up here it's on the same thing.
So make sure you go to my other sponsor, NordVPN, and then you can put in Canada if you have Disney Plus, and you can watch the Orville. And NordVPN protects you from people like Steven on the internet.
Yeah, great. Thanks, man. So that's cool. No, this is great. We're getting close to the end here.
We are.
Roughly.
So Jayde, real quick. First of all, Jayde obviously does have a YouTube channel. You definitely should check it out. It's SheLion Gaming.
Get your butts over there and hit that button.
Absolutely. Subscribe to her channel. You always hit the thumbs up. The Google and the YouTube algorithms are kind of strange. So just give her that thumbs up, and that just lets YouTube know that you like the video, and it'll help her out a lot. We want to try and get her up to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 subs. How about before the end of the year? We got some time. Let's get 10,000 subs before the end of the year. It's doable.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah, 2 months in at 500 subs, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is I don't even know like what a baseline or what normal is. But I guess that's decent. So
from what I could tell and talking to people, I think it's good growth in general, like in a sense. Just keep an eye on it. If it's doubling or increasing, whatever, you're doing something right, in the end.
I just like getting my stuff out there to share with people. Like that's my main thing. So I mean, if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't, but it's there.
What is like your next big project? Not necessarily next big video, but what's your next big project you're working
on? So right now I am just basically trying to find like a dynamo cab. So it's the potential of that. The only other thing that I'm working on is my multi-cade, which I have to basically build side panels for it that extend it out a little bit further because I put a widescreen in it, and a new bezel. And I'm actually in the process right now of swapping out all my buttons in my X Arcade.
Nice. And what about you,
Cool.
Steven? What do you got going on?
Not much these days, but gonna visit my folks in the next couple days. So things are on the down low. As far as projects, I don't have many projects. I still got to hang up all that Star Wars stuff I bought in Florida. So I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put this damn thing here. I got to figure out what to do with that on the wall somewhere. So it's the Mandalorian symbol. So I got to figure out where to put that on my wall. But that's about it. It's summertime. I'm taking it easy, so it's all good.
It is definitely summertime. It hasn't rained in so long. My grass has turned to dust. To spray paint the ground.
Well, that's cool.
No,
well, we
it's
want to
not.
thank you again for coming and being on our humble little show here.
Yeah, she had to
And,
juggle a few things. She wanted to be on. She juggled a few things around, and I really appreciate her doing it.
Yeah.
That she was able to come on tonight.
And good luck on your channel and everything else. And do pop in and say hi. And we wish you the best of luck.
And thank you guys very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on here and hang out with you guys. So
Cool. Awesome.
That was nice, man. She can lie and still smile and make us all believe it. It's so nice. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Make us believe it. That's
But Jayde,
it. No more.
So
girls
Jayde,
on
thank
the
you for
show.
coming on tonight, and don't forget everyone. This Friday at 8, it's game time. But we have the Tech Buzz, we have SheLion Gaming, we have Bill's Retro Gaming Show, which I think it's just only $5 for kind of using part of my name in there. It's only $5, and of course I'll be on that as well on Fridays. We'll kick off the Fridays the right way, and then Super Game Room Dudes comes on at 9 o'clock. So we're trying to make your midweek a little bit better here on Kickin' at Old Skool, and then we kick off the weekend the right way with Game Time and then Super Game Room Dudes. So thank you all for watching, and I'll let Jayde see if she knows what the right thing to say is here. Jayde, what do we say at the end? What do we want people to do now? What do we want them to do?
what do we want them to do?
She might not know. She might not know my call out. Game on.
It's 2 words. I'll give you a hint. It's game, and then the thing you do with the
Game
light
on?
switch. There you go.
That's it. That was it. Everyone, game on. Have a great weekend. And remember, tell your family and friends that you love them. Always. Have a good night,
Take
everyone.
care, guys.
At the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.